put it in simple terms, the barrage of cliches have begun. Now, obviously, there were cliches, but there were not barrage of cliches in the show. So now, to put it simple, songs now that the show is pretty much coming to the end, and most probably only has like 3 episodes left. It's quite simple to see that the barrage of cliches have been thrown towards us, and it's quite simple that they will continue to come towards us for the simple fact that the show is coming to the end, and a lot of romance anime tend to get a lot of cliches. Now there were some exceptions to the romance category, but most of the romance animes are pretty much like that. Then when they come to the end, they throw you with a barrage of cliches, and that's what happened in this episode. Like, we see a lot of cliches in this episode, a lot of romance category cliches, and this was coming. It's undeniable that this was coming. That is undeniable, and this doesn't make the episode bad or anything. Like, it still had its moments. It still was a decent episode. I wouldn't say like it was like amazing or something like that, but it was still a decent episode. But it in a way, it also had a lot of cliches in this episode. So the barrage of cliches have begun. For anybody who doesn't like romantic cliches coming in, I'm just gonna warn you, like the barrage of cliches. This is coming. It's coming. A lot of cliches are coming for you. So, let's put it simply. There you go. Now, to begin with this episode, now this is quite a thing. Like, it was quite straightforward from Alec, and she pretty much confirms that um, Teresa basically has begun to have feelings for Tada, and it's very simple. It is very simple to see that. It was indicated since day one, like since the show started. Like, they she already had feelings for it. It was just it was not natural. Like, it wasn't out of the bag yet, and now it's out of the bag basically. And pretty much, you when she said that I will that will not make like that will not put impact on me being a queen, basically that's when the part comes in where the cliche begins, meaning that work hard. Like, there's gonna be parting, coming together, parting, coming together. That's basically how it's gonna happen. Like, there's gonna be a lot of scenes like that. Just saying that because that's what a lot of romance animes tend to do. A lot of them tend to do. Now, if this goes in a completely different direction, I'm alright with that. I am alright with that. After all, the show says Tada never falls in love. So if it goes in a completely different direction, like the show indicates what it could go to, I will say that that was a good job. That was well done job trying to fool us, like giving us these cliches and everything and all that. But if the show goes in the same categories as many other shows do, I think so. It's basically gonna be just like any other romance show I watch for me, because most of the romance show, not, I would not say every, but most of the romantic shows, they start off slow, comedic, and everything, and then at the end of the moment, like the gets serious. A barrage of cliches begin, and that's basically how the show ends. And this is basically how it's gonna end. There was some cool moments. Okay, there was some comedic moments. Like, for example, how the caterpillar moment was. I really like that moment where Ijuin just goes back and he's like, I'm not afraid. I'm cool with everything. Like, I really like that moment. It was cool. I would say that I really really enjoyed that moment. That was just amazing. Now, put it aside, if you ask me, like, I also like the moment where Teresa was trying to hide her feelings very hard. Like, she's trying to go like, "Yep, everything is okay today with me." So yeah, that was cool too, and it kind of just shows like there's a feeling for she can't deny her feelings, and especially the ending scene kind of. Yeah, that scene, the one where Teresa basically kisses Tada at the end, it's just It's very weird to see because it's not it's it's not something you would do, I would say, to a ill person, like without him noticing you. It's weird in a way. Like, imagine you're just sleeping calmly and somebody comes and kisses you, especially when you're ill. Like, that's just weird. Like, that's kind of falls in a weirdo category. So just like, it was weird to see that scene. Like, and why would he cry out of all things? I could understand, like, okay, you would have been a queen and everything, but to be honest, I think so. I think so she should have been sad about, like, she should have not cried or anything about that scene. Like, it just made the scene even more weird for me to watch. Like, first you kiss this man, and then you come back. I can't hold my feelings. Start to cry. It's like, okay, like, okay, like, it's just weird. Like, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing or anything. It's just weird to see that scene. It's like, don't get me wrong. The show is great. Okay, I'll give a show. It's not the greatest, or it's not like anything else. It's quite simple, but at the same time, it's quite complicated. It becomes complicated later on, but it starts out quite simple, becomes complicated. It's all right, okay. The show is good. It's not a bad show in any way, but the thing is, like, some scenes are just weird. Like, some of these scenes in the show is just weird, and this one falls into them. Like, it's just weird to see the scene. Like, I just didn't find it that attracting to the show. Like, it just wasn't like, it just wasn't the type of scene that made me go like, whoa, okay, that happened. Okay, it was like, oh, okay, that happened. That's basically how my reaction was. Like, I literally had like no words for that. Like, it was like a no word, but a confused no word, rather than a like a delightful or a surprise no word. It was like a confused no word for me. I'm like, okay, now that happened. Like, just like that. I just feel like this show tries to. Sometimes, I'm not saying all the time, but sometimes this show tries too hard. I just feel that, like, this episode was an example of it. This episode tried too hard to make things complicated. Basically, it tried to make things complicated, and it tried too hard for it. Like, sometimes it will be very simple. Like last episode, I really liked it. How Mitsuyoshi was controlling the situation. How he was just taking this situation. How he's showing his mature side to the audience. But this one, I'm like, okay, this one is just. It just sometimes tries too hard. Like, if you keep it simple like the last one, it just becomes good. And then when you come to this episode, you'll just be like, okay, things get complicated. Anyways, let me know what you think about this episode, because to be honest, I like this episode. Not gonna lie, I like this episode, but at the same time, I also found this episode to be very weird in a way. So I wouldn't say this was something I thoroughly enjoyed, but I did enjoy this episode. Especially parts, the school parts of it, like those were really funny, especially photography and all that. Like, it was cool to see that all stuff. Yeah, like, no, yeah, I enjoyed this episode. Just some parts were just weird for me. And let me know what you think about what happened at the end, how between Teresa and Tada. Let me know about that. And let me know what you think about next episode. Are, like, I think so they're going on a date or something. I don't know. But yeah, let me know about that, and I'll see you next video as always. Peace.